Oh, I have to make some adjustments now. Hello, everybody. How's it going?
Oh, hi.
Well,
Hey,
hi.
everyone.
Everybody almost is in the right spot, except for this. Boop,
Galindra.
Just cross it out with crayon. It's fine.
boop, and boop. Hey, all the boops are there. All right, cool. Starth Oculus, what's up, stranger? Good to see you.
Sonder, let's do a high five.
Other way. Yeah. There you go. High five outside of bounds.
Oh,
Yes.
I went too far. I went too far.
Too far. It's too far. Oh no. Good to see you. All right. We are here in part 2 of Kalashandra, the lovely, dark, dangerous place that probably has, cotton candy and cupcakes at the end. Probably. Hello, Harley Quinn. Welcome. Welcome to,
Poison.
God, I almost said welcome to the Coliseum. Woof. Woof.
The Frogurt is also cursed.
Yeah. Yes. All of those things. But yeah, welcome to Game of Santos. We are getting ready to play some D&D tonight because that is how we roll. Or something like that.
This is how we do
Meow. Did I? Yes. Okay, that's set. That's set. All right. I think that's it. We don't have too many things as far as announcements go. Thank you for hanging out with us yesterday for our first episode of Rescuers Season 2, The Call of Zool. That was really dope. Super excited to see how that's going to turn out because I'm sure it's going to be fine. Nothing there could possibly affect you guys. No. Definitely not.
Definitely not something that is going on simultaneously in the world that will have consequences for this campaign.
No. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. That's how things go. All right. But yeah, so hang out with us next Monday, 7 p.m. for a continuation of that fun little mini series. Say hello to exactly, Trash Can. It's all gonna be fine. Say hello to our friends over at Clickety Clack tomorrow. Joom and Dreamy will be there tomorrow for the Kindred game. Graham is gonna be hanging with them on Friday for their Eberron's 007 secrets.
It should be the finale of that particular arc aboard the Flying Casino Royale knockoff section, and then next week I believe we're off.
All right, cool, nice. And then I think from this group, Dreamy is the only one who's going to be on the Sunday in the Fae games that they have going on. So go say hi to them. Trash Can, I think you have your games on Sunday nights. So go say hello to Trash Can over there at Grouch Couch. And once again, thank you to Turkey from over at Grouch Couch for our lovely bridge puzzle or room puzzle that he gave me last week. It was a lot of fun. So thank you for that. Hey, and we have Hannah here, Bards of New York. Welcome. Hello. Thank you for coming in and saying hello and being an awesome friend of the show. So thank you for that. I'm gonna just get a series of mugs from all of our streamer friends, and I'm just gonna put them back here. I have the you're muted one up here. And
that should be the focus mug. I'm just saying.
Probably. I need to find a place on my laptop. Well, I'm gonna get my laptop fixed first, then find a place on my laptop for the sticker that I got from them also. I would carry your friendship across 1,000 iterations, and I thought that was the cutest little thing. So I'm looking forward to placing that somewhere where that's me with beanies from all our friends. You collect beanies? All right, cool. Good to know. But anyway, yeah, as far as announcements go, I think that about covers it. So we can get started with tonight's game. Hopefully we can get ourselves a Kindred to pop in here soon. We'll see. Who knows? It's a night of mystery. If not, then I'm sure this will be fine.
Terrible.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. All right, here we go. Whee! Oh, funny. So
I was watching
Hey,
it. Oh,
Aaron,
we
I
back?
would just restart everything, including your Wi-Fi.
Well, yeah, but it. I don't know how that's gonna.
Test.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If it does it again, then
Hey,
we might
it's
have
working.
to. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see. It's all green now, so.
Wake up, everyone. Living in the graveyard is thirsty work.
Oh yeah, I was like, I know I
Thank you,
literally
but-
just got water. I don't know where I put it though. All right, we are good to go. Let's do this before we have another internetual interruption. Okay. Prayer circle for technology. For real though. For real. You know how it goes, Hannah. You know how it goes. I have seen you. I have seen the fun times that you have before, so you're good. You can commiserate. All right. As I put the little candles going. Open says me. The brigade have infiltrated Kalashandra, the Thayan graveyard. A place rumored to be where the liches of the Red Wizard forces are keeping the secret of their immortality, the phylacteries of their souls. As of yet, the brigade has not found anything that would seem to resemble these items, however. The spaces they have walked through do appear to be suffused with negative energy and necromantic magic. So surely this is the right place. After defeating the guards near what was assumed to be the entrance, the group continued in through a large hallway with ruined tiles. After passing across there with relative ease and a few minor explosions of charged magic, they continue forward and wind up separated into two groups. Sonder, Kindred, Sol, and Galil have stumbled upon a room where it looks as though items from the caravan have been unboxed. But to what purpose? Iskra, Renan, and Ardrin hold near the room where the other members of the party had vanished into and feel the air move from the doorway that they were guarding, almost as if there had been another entrance that was breathing in. Upon looking, they find that this room continues, or this little passageway continues to a room that has a platform that is suspended in the air around a cylindrical pit that goes both up and down.
And all the way around.
And all the way around. What lies in wait? as the crypt keeper watches from afar. So, as we get started here, I'm going to open up the right thingies, and we are here ready to go. Thank you for the follow. Tonight on a very nice, a very special, just another ordinary day. Arjun, Iskra, and Renan. We'll start with you for now.
You actually added me to the list this time.
Iskra and Renan, as you are looking into this room with the circular pit, and you have this feeling of the air that is gusting past you both. Not in a super strong way, but just enough to where you can tell there's like this air circulation that is coming through. You realize for the first time how damp the air had been before. This it's kind of reminiscent of being in the cave, obviously, but there's that staleness to the air that you hadn't realized you'd been feeling up until this point. And feeling this slightly cooled air coming from either above or below. You stand here at the edge of this pit. And you see that the clouds and fog have this almost glow to them in both directions, and you can see around the pit or around the platform, and the little swirl of clouds that kind of like move occasionally as if the air is charged with something.
I take a deep breath for a moment, letting myself enjoy what might be our last breath of fresh air, and just take in this sight, the strangeness of this place that we're in. I look to Renan, given his expertise with all things divine and storm related, and just kind of look at him, see if he has any notions of what we're beholding.
So did you say that the cylinder had a view of like sky? You said something last time, I think, about seeing skies on the cylinder or in the cylinder, or was it
In the
just
cylinder, just the
clouds?
clouds. Just the
Okay.
clouds. And you can see on the far side that this is a cylinder. It's not just like a big open void. You can see the walls that kind of skirt all the way around. Even though the further back they go, it curves in such a way that it starts to disappear from sight, but you can still barely make it out. I'm assuming you guys still have your lights still on. Otherwise, this is kind of awkwardly. I mean, it's still dim, even if you don't, but...
Yeah,
When
and I'd asked for a Tet to create some light for me too.
That's right.
And I have the 120-foot dark vision.
Yeah.
Do I get any sense of where the air seems to be coming from?
Up or down. Up and down, I guess you could say. So it's not like any one specific direction.
Okay.
And you had
How far do you think this goes?
I don't really know, but it doesn't seem to have any of the discontent of the air that is inside the other rooms.
Do you think we're underground? I'd hope maybe when we felt the air that there'd be a window or a passage, something where we could see light.
Well, I suppose if we are underground, our better bet for getting out would probably be up then. Or at least one could hope.
I look up at the clouds.
There's a little bit of you see that lightning that has been, or that energy, right, that has been coursing through the walls, though wherever those green blue veins of crystal that kind of sparkle their way or vein their way through marble. That's a good one. Marble their way through the rock walls. You see that lightning of it just kind of like crackle through, right? And it just like does those weird, almost banshee like screech as it goes through, and it like lights across, and you can see it trace a path that kind of starts to swirl downwards across the wall in the cylinder. It just kind of goes downwards into like a little spiral before it fades from sight because of the clouds. And you see at that same time another one that starts up above within the cylinder. Kind of, it looks like light. It almost looks like really cheesy effects back in the old movies where they're like the lightning always flashes the exact same way every time. It's almost like that. You just see it like course through the veins of rock, and then it eventually fades off.
Closing my eyes for a minute and holding my hands out, one to my side and one in front of me, do I get the feeling that the air in here is interacting with the platform in any way that unnaturally?
Make a nature check for me, I guess.
Simultaneously, I was hoping to see if I could feel a connection to the sky through the air above me.
Sure. Make a religion check or a nature check, whichever you prefer.
Just the 14.
23.
Okay. 14. It doesn't seem to be interacting. You feel like the gusts coming from both below and above, but the platform that just seems to be hanging over nothing just sits still. It doesn't look like it shifts or moves at all. And then for Renan, you feel no empty sky. This feels as claustrophobic as it did before. It's just the movement of the air that gives you some sort of hope, but you have no connection or sight of fresh air.
Looking back down at the platform, I look over to Iskra. Do you think the platform might rise and fall out of this room?
I hadn't considered that, but that's a great idea. I thought
Perhaps.
maybe this was some kind of temple, but maybe it's a lift.
I wonder if it is supposed to be the lift that somebody would use to get in, if not using the portal itself. One can only hope. I think we should go back.
Your eyes, Renan, catch something on the portal as you're about to turn around.
On the portal or the platform?
Platform, sorry.
Or did I just find out that it's a portal?
No, it was me saying, because you had just said portal instead of the portal, so it was in my head.
Platform.
On the platform, there are a couple of grooves that are cut around the edges. And you see, at first you thought it was just like broken bits of the stone. You see that upon closer inspection and kind of like, as you were been talking and looking at it, kind of tilt your head to the side, and there are these little geometric patterns that line on each side. There are 6 on each side that kind of go around the edges.
I think I see some kind of runes over there. Perhaps we could ask Kindred to look at this later.
Or, hey, Atet, do you think you could get a little closer?
Be careful. I do not know if I can channel this lightning.
Nice. The little orb of the ghost Atet comes out and floats around you. Looks between the both of you. I could definitely try. Give me a moment. And she floats over the top. There's a little brief moment as she floats from where you are to over the platform that she kind of gets buffeted up a little bit, and she kind of like makes you jump for a second, just in the sense of like but it just looks like a little bit of a hiccup, right? It just kind of goes up and then continues across.
I guess the air movement is relatively harsh.
So just enough to where maybe she wasn't expecting that she flew across. This is a new sensation after all. She goes over to the platform and starts to like scan around. You can see these little arcane, like the math lady gif, little arcane sigils that kind of like pop up around Atet as it kind of starts to float around the edges. Makes a complete circle all the way around before coming back to where you're at. I'm not 100% sure what they are, but they do look to be some sort of geometric patterns, and they mirror each other on one side and the other. Conduits maybe of some sort for arcane means, but I have limitations with the arcane at the moment.
Hopefully, Kindred will have another idea as well.
Yeah, right. We can have you describe what you saw once we reconnect.
She, as you are saying that, a little minor image appears in front between her and you, and it creates these little images. One is triangular in shape, although she makes it, the symbol that it makes almost gives it a three-dimensional image look to it, almost like a small pyramid. The next one is square or cube in shape. The next one looks almost diamond-esque. The next one, another diamond, but this with more facets. And then the last two that she shows almost have a more spherical shape to it, but still with these flat sides. Until the last one looks similar to a dodecahedron.
I see. We need to roll critical on an entire set of dice to make it work. All right. Let us go back before something jumps out of this hole at us.
We're not sure what this is, Arjun, but it feels meaningful. It's either transportation or maybe something sacred. But we need help translating some shapes that we saw. Tet recorded them. How is it back there? Safe to return?
It's been as quiet as it was when you left, so I'll go check in on the others.
All right, we'll start making our way back.
And Arjun will see how the others are faring at the moment.
Okay. Cutting to a couple of moments earlier with...
Well, I pull the dancing lights back and throw them back down the hallway and kind of space them out down the hallway until the end.
Okay. Cutting to a few moments earlier with Sol and Sonder heading into the room. You have walked into the passageway that also remind me, I can't remember, who's the one who got the information of what the runes meant? Did Kindred tell you, or did I just like let it slip? I don't remember what happened.
I think it was Kindred telling us through that, and then you kind of telling Kindred what they were.
Yeah. Going into this room, both you, Sol, and Sonder. You follow the path as it goes down just a couple of feet. And you can see it goes probably like 30, 40 feet from this main chamber that you were in. And it opens up into a small room that's about 20 feet wide and goes down about 40 or so feet. In here, there are a couple of tall crates that have rolled carpet or fabric within it. You see various cupboards that look to contain bandages of some sort or wrappings, kind of similar to the monk wrappings that you are familiar with. There's also a large contraption that holds various large bolts of red fabric and a mechanism that looks like you can rotate, like they're on like a little bit of a mechanism that kind of allows them to rotate around each other. The room is lit with some glowing crystals that are jutting out of the black rock. And at the very back, it looks like there is a workstation of sorts with various gnarly looking cutting implements that hang from racks above. And this is the room that you come into. What are you two doing?
Does it look like there's another exit or entrance in here, or is this sort of like a dead end?
It's just a dead end. You can look around if you want.
Definitely.
Oh, see if I can. I'm gonna look for finished robes.
Okay.
Like finished Red Wizard robes. And I'll probably look more towards the back because that's where the cutting
workstation.
Yeah, more of the workstations at.
So, what are you focusing on?
I want to look around and see if I can find anything written, like books or journals, or something to kind of give me an idea of what even this place is that we're at.
Okay. Go ahead and make investigation rolls, if you will.
Got a 16.
16. Okay. Sonder.
Let's go. Wow. Okay, an 8. Because my investigation sucks.
Okay. So, as you're starting to look around this room, everything here looks like it's meant to store materials. You don't see anything in the way of journals or books, papers. It actually seems to be purely the materials of fabric and things. You see a couple of open-ended like crates, I guess, that are, you know, only like a foot wide or whatever, that are stuck into little alcoves in a shelf. And pulling them out, you find that they have spools of golden and silver thread inside, as well as a couple other like almost like crafty utensil looking things, right? But nothing in the way of papers or books. Sonder, as you go further towards the back, you see that this workstation is actually a lot bigger than it looks like from the outside, taking in a good amount of space. In fact, you could probably just lay your entire body on this and still have room on either side.
I'm not gonna let the intrusive thoughts win.
Hanging from the ceiling, kind of like a you've seen in those kitchens where they have the racks that they hang all the pots on. You see hanging something similar above, and it's got various oversized shears. It looks like a couple of really sharp looking blades that would probably be extremely useful in the cutting of fabric. And there on the back part of this workbench, now that you're walking up closer to it, you can see that there are these little grooves that make a rectangular shape on the top of this workbench. Grooves that have small square sliders. There are 3 separate groove lines. The inner groove has 4. So there's one on each side. Or no, sorry, I'm sorry. There's 4 on each side. The middle has 6. And the outer has 8. And it looks like they can be adjusted and moved. And you see that they're just like in these random positions, but they create a completely flat surface. So in other words, like the grooves sit recessed and the little sliders in them as well sit recessed. So whatever gets placed on top doesn't disturb the... Yeah.
Okay.
About this time, as you guys are looking in this room, Kindred and Galil, as you guys are now like pried open this case, you just hear Kindred go, "I don't like that."
Do we recognize them by name, by any chance?
I wouldn't say by name. They look familiar, but they don't look completed. They just have that familiarity of the body shape, the coloration of the doll-like looking skin, but there's no face to them. And the creatures that you had seen in Silver Moon had faces on them.
And that all these bodies came from just one of these coffins?
I think that there's 2.
Or each coffin?
Well, right now you just opened one, and it had,
Yeah,
I think, 2 bodies in it, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to open up the other ones just to...
Verify.
Yeah.
The one that is next to it, as you would have to remove this coffin to get to or this box, I should say. Not a coffin, but this box. You'd have to remove this to get to the ones below it. But the very next one also contains 2 mannequin-like bodies. Lifeless. Faceless. But the hollows...
Are they wearing clothes?
Nope.
Formless.
No.
Any strange markings on them?
You have to make an investigation check.
Can I have it with advantage if Kindred's helping?
Sure, Kindred can be helping.
I feel like the lack of markings is what's pretty strange on them so far.
And you said perception, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aye. Dirty 20.
Perception if you're wanting to just look. Investigation if you're wanting to kind of search the bodies, like roll them over and see what's underneath.
Okay, then a 16.
16. Kind of reaching it, and you, for a minute, Kendra grabs your hand as you're about to like try and shove this over. It's like, just careful. And you go through ahead and like lift the body up and kind of shove it over, and you find that it is hauntingly light.
Like
stuff yet.
Like it just feels like you're expecting it. It looks and lays like it's heavy, like an actual, not weightless body, but like a body would, right? You know, it just has that, like, it has that, the way it lays in it. But then you lift it and move it, and it feels a lot lighter than you expected. It still feels solid, but it just is a lot lighter of a thing than you thought it was. You lift it over, and it's smooth. There's no markings, no definition of muscles or anything like that. It is literally just a smooth humanoid surface shape thing.
And I hate to do this, but I'm gonna have Kindred ready up Firebolt.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pull out a dagger and literally cut open. Well, just cut it, just see if any blood comes out.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh, dissect this thing right now if I have to.
Rolling this.
The blade cuts into the flesh. It makes a very smooth cut as it kind of goes down, and you're gonna go. It starts to like split. It just kind of goes as it starts to tear down the blade. There's probably about quarter of an inch thick of substance, like skin, and this greenish blue ooze below the surface that starts to just kind of like spill out, looking like blood or some sort of liquid. It just kind of starts to pool out, almost too thick to be blood, as it doesn't run, but not quite like sludge. Yeah, it's kind of got a little bit of a viscous quality, but it just kind of like pools out. Your mind goes back to the times when you fought these similar creatures in Silvery Moon, and they did bleed in a similar fashion.
Yep.
Ooh.
Kindred's like, you can see the arcane energy around his hands as he has that firebolt ready, and then just like, ugh, gross.
I know he's gonna want to examine it later, so I'll go pull out one of my jars and actually put the sludge in it as much as I can.
Kind of put that little vial up, and then just kind of like scoop it up as best as you can, and you just see it doesn't like seem to deflate. It doesn't seem to lose anybody. You see that liquid start to slow, almost as if it is congealing around the wound and starting to stop it from losing whatever the liquid is that it was losing.
With the amount I have in the jar, I'm just gonna put it up and just put the body back and say, "I'm sorry, buddy," and get out of there.
Alrighty. We'll say about this time, as you are doing that, Iskra and Renan, you get back to the room with Ardrin. Just like time-wise, this was happening simultaneously, but about like...
Well, Arjun would have walked off towards the...
Oh, Ardrin was going that direction.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were waiting for them to get back.
I was checking to
first,
see if
yeah.
they were alive before Iskra and Renan returned, so...
Okay. So, perfect. That's even better, because we're going to say as soon as Galil says, "Sorry, buddy," and closes the thing, Ardrin comes into the room, kind of just like seeing all these boxes and them, and here's, "Sorry, buddy," and you like close the lid on a coffin, and you're just like,
Okay, what the hell did I just walk in on?
Don't ask.
No, that's what we're starting this conversation with. What is all this? They're alive, by the way.
We found some bodies up here, but they look like people we knew back in Silvery Moon.
Long story short, there were these things that were serving the Thayans there, and they kind of shot lightning magic, and they kind of were like dolls. And it looks like these things are not fully formed. Maybe like, I don't know.
Kindred giving the Cliff Notes version?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
You know, Kindred, I like you when you're really forthright. I mean, it's a real personal growth moment.
Don't get.
Sorry, you were saying something.
Don't get used to it.
Sandra was saying something, I think, is
Oh,
we cut him off.
were you gonna say Sander?
I was just laughing.
Oh,
Yeah.
um,
Just laughing.
the two
Okay.
the two other blue boys went down that tunnel though. Like nods towards one of the rooms, and you see that there are 3 doorways that kind of lead off in 3 different directions. And he nods to one, and you see that there's like a large arcanum symbol above each doorway.
Is it Arcanum or Thayan writing, or is that kind of one and the same?
They're different.
Okay.
So Arcanum is kind of one that's used by most mages, like generally is used in a lot of magic. Thayans have their own like variations of it. Everybody can kind of like take those base symbols and reconstruct them however they like, but the very like
Yeah,
core of it.
I have no hope of being able to read it, so if it was Thayan, at least I could have tried to piece it together. But if it's Arcanum, it's like, nah, that's algebra. All right, Iskra and Renan are heading back. They may have found a further way up or something else. Kind of need other eyes on it. Well, I'm gonna go check on the others. They should be here in a second. And I'm gonna go find the blue boys.
Just in case, Aaron, I'm gonna place the coffins upside down so it's harder for them to like jump out.
Okay. We'll say that Kindred will help you do that because it's kind of a 2-person job.
With his mage hand.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
but
over
it
here
wouldn't.
doing all the work.
Probably would try, and then eventually be like, okay, fine. I'm just like, you have to like maneuver these things to where both of the boxes now face downward on the boxes below, so that they kind of just like compress against each other.
I can definitely imagine Kindred sitting on a box, like not even really looking, but having his mage hand helping you while you're like,
But also maybe trying to sit on the box, hoping that his body weight keeps whatever is inside
Right.
from getting out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Then
Might
Arjun.
not be here, but we got to make it believable.
Then Arjun, as you walk down this little passageway, and it's not like they're very long passageways. You go down this little passageway into this next room where you see Sonder and Soul kind of looking about the place.
Iskra and Renan may have found a way up or something that ain't more of the same. Kind of like at least an attempt at a surface.
This is
you guys fine.
it looks like it prepares the red wizard cloaks that we've seen them wear, but there's an intricacy to it that I don't understand.
I didn't really see anything interesting or valuable other than maybe some gold or silver thread.
We should get
Arjun,
going.
make an Arcana check for me.
Oh, I'm not good at those. I'm not bad at those, apparently.
Crit.
15.
See?
Oh, well.
You go over to where Saunders is there with his workstation. You look at the grooves that are in the center, and the what looks like, you would imagine like almost like a ruler, a measurement line that kind of goes around the center all the way in the square around this thing. Those are magic runes. You have spent enough time using teleportation magic to know what a teleportation circle would look like. Even one that is miniaturized. The runes,
How big is it? Like
it's
that
probably
big kind of thing?
no,
Or-
this kind of covers like a workstation or a desk. It's big enough for a grown person to like lay in the middle, and just one person though. Most teleportation circles are big enough around, to where they're circular.
But this is like a morgue
This is
size.
yes, this is something slab size, smaller, permanent. It doesn't match like the drawn kind of symbols. This is something to. There are differences here, and you realize that the little sliders themselves act as kind of, for lack of a better term, a Stargate kind of railing system where you move things into lock into a certain place, and it might send something somewhere. So it's very specific. It doesn't give you the creation of runes normally, like a teleportation rune is acts like coordinates or an address. You kind of make them up wherever you're wanting to go. These are very specific.
This is like a mechanical system. Like this is almost part of a like conveyor belt arrangement.
Something. This would be designed to send things from one place to another specifically, depending
Reset,
on.
do it again, reset, do it again.
Like a library tube system.
Something like that.
So there's 2 other rooms like this?
Mhm.
Or
Well, 2 other rooms that they kind of go
this
off from
one
this.
is-
I have
This
a
one's
thought.
the clothing room. Next door is liquids, and then components is the last door.
I don't know who said it, but the whole build-a-thay thing is really kind of coming into
Right.
sharp relief right now.
Build.
What did
the
the others find?
Mannequins and slash goo people in a sarcophagus or whatever it is. And then Iskra and Renan found I don't know, access to the surface. So
I guess they prepare the bodies here and then send them off to whichever lich maybe lost its body or assistance.
or they come down here, assemble, and then send them out the portal,
Makes sense.
or vice versa. I don't know.
Well, if they found the outdoors, then I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I do kind of want to look at the other rooms just to see what's different and what's the same.
Okay.
Whatever.
I would go with
that's
you.
convenient.
Thunder, you want to come?
I'm sure we could use any components if you all are running low. So maybe take some from that. If that is as well. Yeah, I'll come with you.
All right. Going to the next room over, do you hit liquids first or components?
I would say, speaking of liquids, Iskra and Renai should have wandered back in at this point. They weren't that far, were they?
Yeah, no.
They're walking out of the closed room. We're walking into the first chamber. Like,
So, walking down the hallway with Renan before we get back to the rest of the group,
Sure.
just kind of in that dark space, I'm gonna just, I guess it doesn't, we can't really see each other very well right now anyway, so I'm just gonna be
I
looking
sent-
straight ahead while talking.
I sent the
Um,
dancing
but-
lights into the hallway, so those would be marching like one right over us, one like 20 feet ahead, and one like 20 feet behind.
Okay, perfect. So in this dramatic lighting in the hallway.
Yes.
Oh, Renan, you know Lady Morn very well?
Well enough, I suppose. Why do you ask?
Well, I trust her and she's trusted me. I mean, she's the one who made me a knight, with your recommendation, of course. But, those creatures we fought earlier, those wizards, those men, their eyes reminded me of her. You said something before we came here about this place being more important than just what we're doing here, which is already the weight of the world. I think you might be right.
Indeed. I should tell you. given our greater mission, if all else fails, and we get to a point that I don't feel that we can save our party members, I will be doing what I can to, at the very least, send myself back where I came from. I will wait until the very last moment if I can, but if this mission is to fail, the mission the two of us were sent on here, there are other missions that we may be able to succeed at, but we cannot succeed at if we are dead.
I'm gonna give Renan a very pained look. I go, as you should. You should keep going. So far, this is my only instruction, and I don't think I can leave them. And not while I still have a chance.
I will not force you to take that same path, unless you are at a point where you can make no choices of your own. And even then, I can only hope that when you get back where you came from, that perhaps you will survive whatever state you end up leaving this place in. Understand, I do not want to leave these people. They have become my friends. But the unfortunate rule is sometimes the greater good means if you can only save one thing, you save it when you can. If I had a way to take them all out of here, I would. Unfortunately, the way that I can get the two of us out of here, I don't believe will work on any of the others. Even Aldrin, with all his time in the Feywild, that does not mean anything towards my way of getting us out if he was not born there, if he's not from there. I cannot think of a way to save them all. If the battle goes ill. With any luck, we will finish this all in gladness and raise a cup to our victory.
Right. I'm gonna do my very best to see it through to the end, whatever the end is. I feel like I need to prove it to myself, and I'm just a rookie to the Knights anyway. There's probably dozens more of me.
Oh, Iskra, I can honestly tell you in all my years, I don't think I've ever met a knight quite like you. Let us rejoin the group. Because I have a feeling at that point we would have had to like stop at the end of a hallway to finish that little exchange.
Yeah.
We've been dead for 20 minutes.
Oh yeah. We just
The
walk
goo
in there
people
and the
came out of the
mannequins
sarcophagus.
Yeah, the mannequins are just like stealing body parts. Like, I like his arms more.
All right.
Yeah, that awkward expression of they walk in, they kind of just look up from our corpses. Just, oh, this is awkward.
All right. As you guys come in, Kindred is still, we're going to say for the moment, Kindred is like looking and tracing and copying down the intricate spell circle that you see here in the center. Iskra and Renan, you see this large circular room, not too much smaller, we'll say, than the platform that you had seen in the other one. But this one is covered in a lattice work of spell circle. It's curious. It looks like there's like almost like crazy person scrawling that's kind of goes along the lines, just all in different directions, and they interconnect and swirl around. And you can see that Kindred was trying to recreate this circle into his notepad. We'll say that I guess Galil and Oreo is there with you, right? So kind of looking over, you see some of the boxes. Actually, Iskra and Renan, you would recognize some of these boxes as the things that you had transported over from the caravan, but they are empty now, or some of them are at least. And then there's other boxes here as well that were not from this caravan, but look like they have been transported before. They look older, maybe slightly dustier. And then there are these 4 large coffin-like boxes on the far side of the room, the 3 doorways, and I'm assuming Ardrin, Sol, and Sonder, you went into that next room, right? Did you guys have lights with you or whatnot?
If they
dark
need
vision.
lights, I would use it, but
I have.
I have the lantern on
That's right.
still.
That's right.
It goes out for 6 hours.
Okay. So yeah, there's lantern light in this room.
And can I read the symbols above the doors?
Make an Arcana check for me.
Any invisible thing is revealed in the light, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Why does the natural 20s always get wasted on shit like this? That is a 27.
So yes, you recognize these symbols as arcanum that is usually used to symbolize either clothing or cloth, liquids or fluids, something of that nature, and components or items like small tidbits, things that usually require magic. And we'll say that as you guys have entered, you see Sonder, Sol, and Ardrin going down that hall.
And for simplicity's sake, I will point to each door in turn and say to Iskra, clothing, liquids, components from magic. I mean, of all people, I suppose the liquids would interest you most.
Well, I get the feeling that if there's anything in there, it's probably that brain goo that Galil bathed in.
Who knows? It could be a healing potion, though. We may find need for those.
Either way, it's probably something we either want to destroy or keep.
Would you like to go there first?
Let's check it out.
Components certainly intrigues me, but you have a use for this one. More likely than I, anyway.
Galil, what are you doing?
I'm staying with the group for now.
And I am ignoring
But
what
I
Galil and Kindred are doing.
Yeah.
I'm staying with the group for now, but I'm gonna check out all the rooms that I can with everyone.
With everyone. So you just follow them as they go into the next room? You just hear Kindred mutter to himself, yeah, fine, fuck me. I'm just here copying this down. I'll be fine, I'm sure. He just keeps writing this thing. You guys start going down this hallway. And it is a straight shot. It is not like...
You're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah. It just keeps going. So entering into this room with the liquids. This room contains several shelves that look similar to the ones that you had seen in the previous room, but this looks more like in the days of milkmen, where they would have these little like carriers with the empty bottles. It looks like the shelves have all of these little empty milk crate carriers with all of these glass vials and bottles that have been placed into these alcoves. You see row upon row upon row, different sizes, different shapes. Most of them appear to be empty.
I send the dancing lights through the room.
here in the center, close to the back, kind of where the workstation was, Sonder. In the back of this room, there is no workstation, but there is no. Correct, not in this one. There is a circular pad though on the ground, probably about 2 feet across, and it also has 3 rings. These rings kind of look like they shift and move, kind of like the. If you guys have ever played Skyrim, those little locks. They kind of go back and forth to line up.
Animals.
Yeah, it kind of has that kind of like 3 different rings that rotate around each other, and at the very top, a keystone where it looks like you would line those things up. But the same sort of stylization as the square that you had seen in the other room. The higher shelves and to the middle section shelves all seem to have glass vials. The lower shelves seem to have smaller clay pots, similar to the ones that you had seen the elderbrain juice in, but in different material. But that same kind of like wide at the top that kind of goes down to the bottom, right? For Galil, we'll say you come in last. Up against the wall, you can see the remnants of the crates and coverings that those large Underdark jars had been in at one time. But you see none of those big jars.
I'm gonna go up to it and examine the ground and see if I can see any like droppings from it, marks, skid marks, whatever.
Sure. Make an investigation check. What are the rest of you guys doing while you're in this room?
I would like to go and look at the vials and see if there are any indicating markings on them.
Sure.
I'm gonna,
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say make an investigation check. 10?
15.
15. Got it. Cool.
collect some rupees.
Are you gonna try and break some of the jars?
No, I just want to open one of the smaller lower ledge ones, and
Yeah. You take,
Juggy jugs.
you slide your hand and it kind of lifts the lid of the jar, and you can see that there is like this black liquid inside.
different from the liquid the brain liquid.
This just looks like it's like a black liquidy substance. It's kind of hard to tell unless you were to like touch
Pour
it,
it out.
pour it out.
On the floor.
I'm gonna turn to Galil and be like, "Hey, check this out."
What are you gonna do?
The 17 for my investigation.
Okay.
Then I'll say real quick that Soul's going to do the same thing in this room where he's going to look for papers, journals, something written down.
Okay. Make an investigation check. Arjun, what were you gonna say?
I guess I would help Soul, but for the most part, I'm kind of just keeping myself free in case anyone needs me to translate some drowish writings, since this is where all this liquid came from. So,
Does that black liquid look like the blood coming from the children? And
Amrutlar?
what's it? Yes, I know it's starting with
No,
an A.
Nethjet. Nethjet was the one with the children.
If I try to pull at it with like water,
So are
is
you?
that-
It's in this alcove. To stick your hand in it, you'd have to remove the jar. Or are you just kind of like trying to dip your finger in a little bit and leave the
Yeah,
jar where it's at? Because there's not enough space for you to like, you know what I mean, to stick your hand. It's kind of like a tight
Could I-
space.
Could I use water to like scoop the black liquid up and then like encase it in a water like bubble kind of thing and bring that out?
You could definitely try.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Isker,
With,
what are you doing? Sorry.
I'm just staring at this tree ring
Little platform.
aligning
Yeah.
keystone platform here, and I, just kind of say aloud to myself into the room, I wish we understood this code. There's symbols everywhere here, and we're nowhere closer to understanding them.
So what were you gonna say?
With Ardrin's help, I got a 5 on investigation.
Perfect.
No.
Wow.
All right, cool.
The first time I rolled, I got a 2, and the second time I rolled, it was a 3.
Oh no! Well,
Okay.
Such as
So
it is.
Renan, in looking around, there are no markings on any of the vials. You do see some, like, I mean, there are familiar shapes and there are familiar shapes. Like, this could have been potions, like health potions. It also looks like they have, could be used for anything. They don't have any, they have like, there's like a little basket filled with stoppers of various kinds that can be used to place. But these look like they are meant to have liquids poured into and then either packaged up or sent away somewhere else.
So none of them are full?
None of them are full. They're all empty right now. The only ones that seem to have any liquid is the one that Sonder is currently sluicing some water into. And you're going to try and, like you said, scoop it out with the water. What did you roll on the...
What would it be?
I don't remember how we've done like little intricate water things before.
We tend to use something related to our wisdom because that's our like monk ability.
Maybe I think I might have used insight because it was like going into understanding water, and that's a wisdom.
That but not to
Or
control
in this
it.
case, maybe something dexterity related.
Yeah,
because you're finessing it.
yeah.
Mhm.
I would argue more on the dexterity
hand?
line, sleight of hand. Sure, give me a sleight of hand and an arcana.
Maybe
Wow,
a
it does not
persuasion
like
check?
me. It does not like me today. I got a 7. I got a nat 1, and then my +6 of sleight of hand.
Do you
Okay.
have
And my
physical
arcana,
dice?
I do. I'm gonna switch to that because
Yeah.
this hasn't been nice to me since we
All right. So, as the water is sluicing in, it doesn't pull anything out. Instead, through your senses as a water genasi, this is like ink. It is dirtying the water. It is not like a separate. It's not like an oil and water kind of like ability to pull it out separately. It is just going in there and mixing it up. And the little bit of water that you have under your control, it is starting to like, you can see the ink swirling inwards through it.
okay.
So until you use your ability to kind of clear and clean the water out, as if you pull it back, it would otherwise dirty the water and turn it black. This is definitely a very high quality kind of ink.
Okay.
Um,
Being okay, sorry.
no, you're good. To that degree, in this room, you don't find any papers either. Sol and Arjun.
Do I find any residue?
With yours roll looking through, you can see what looks like footsteps in the dusty ground. And they lead to that central-esque circle that Iskra is standing at. Surmising that maybe wherever they had gone, they had been moved to another part of the dungeon. Iskra, you had your fingers up first. What was you going to say?
So as Khalil comes over and kind of approaches me pondering these concentric rings, it's it's on the ground, right? Like it's on the.
It's
Okay.
raised, like there's like a little bit of a curve upward, but it's raised only by like 2 inches. It's not like flat on the ground, but it's just like a
I'll
little bit.
crouch down as he approaches and start trying to manipulate the rings. Can I push them or shift them in any way?
Yeah.
Are
As
there-
you move them, they slide around.
Okay. If there's one of each symbol in like each of the 3 rings, I want to put all 3 of those in so that they're all aligning with the keystone. I'm
Okay.
like, "Oh, well, I mean, it's worth a try, right?" And just start slide. Like, we won't know until we try.
There's as you are doing it, it kind of startles you for a second as you hear that scream of negative energy course through the walls again, and the room around you lights up briefly as that power kind of like courses through veins that you didn't realize were in the rocks. And it's just kind of like, you don't know. Part of you is like, oh my god, what'd I do? But then the other part of you is like, you've been hearing this for a while, so you know that this is like a normal thing. It's just kind of startles you for a moment.
Yeah, I look up at the creepy energy wall for a minute as I'm like, okay.
All right, you move it around. Hold on, calm down.
Like, Khalil, do you have something to put in the center to see if, maybe it'll send it somewhere? Or create something, or zap it to smithereens? Like, I don't know.
Well, there were similar
Like,
teleportation setups in the other rooms. I'm wondering if this is like how they leapfrog it from one to the other to assemble a newly awakened Thay or one that's about to wake up, or
I'll say, Arjun, you notice, and you, Sol Saunders, since you have seen the other room, this one is significantly smaller than the other one. This one is only 2 feet across, whereas the other one was like a good 6 feet long and about like 3 or 4
If we're
feet wide.
standing.
Yeah, if you're standing, maybe.
Okay.
It would be a very like.
Would it seem like more like the pot or like the vase would
Phylactery.
fit on it instead?
The
do
vase.
we know how big they are generally? Because I always figured it's something like personal to.
It's always something kind of different from what you know, from your understanding. Galileo, what we're gonna say.
I'm gonna pull out an arrow, cast light on it, and put it in the center. Because light lasts for an hour.
Nice.
Cool.
That's actually really smart.
Okay. Let me see.
Give me this
here.
crypt keeper just sitting in his office, and then this glowing arrow just appears on his desk. Those kids causing problems for me again. More to tell Saz about this.
Placing the arrow, it lights up the room into the center. You shift the rings around and find 3 symbols that match. G, G, G. Lining up with the keystone. You will stand, like, put your hands back and wait, but nothing seems to happen.
I just shrug. Like, well, I tried.
Sonder, what were you gonna say?
Given my proficiency in calligraphy, can I deduce that this is just high quality ink?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say so. Like,
And then
I would say you might be able, you can't dip your hand in there without taking
Right,
the thing out, but you can definitely reach in and kind of like grab it with your finger, and just enough to where you're doing this. You can tell it smells
like
ink, like it smells like ink, but this is like a very fine quality ink indeed.
and then we had found empty scrolls earlier, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I want to say that this might be the ink that they use to make the scrolls. And like that's why at least this is here
Mm-hmm.
to the party.
Well, in that case, perhaps put some in a bottle. We can bring it back to Kindred. I'm sure he would be happy with that.
I'll do that and then move one of the other bottles to look like it's not missing.
Okay, so you take the jar and lift it. You grab one, and you see that like the ground around it is dusty as all get out. There's all sorts of like fine powder that is accumulated at the base of all of these things. And it is like curious. You take the pot out, and immediately this red fine mist starts to come out from under the shelves.
Fuck.
I need everybody in the room to make a Constitution saving throw.
Fuck.
As quickly the room just like you see this cloud of red go as the smoke fills the room. You can, yeah. I mean, this is still like fast enough to where as you guys are exiting.
I would just want to leave the room
The
rather
20s.
than just try and tough it out.
No, for sure.
The
This,
nat 20s have not abandoned me.
Yeah, if I
would
use
not
my reaction
imagine.
to get out of here.
I'm
then-
not gonna imagine that you guys are in there, like trying to tough it out. This is still as a like it just suddenly from every shelf underneath, it just kind of like goes and starts to fill the room. You guys like run at the as you guys head out. So was Iskra? What'd you roll?
11.
Cool.
Oh.
Galil.
I got a 12, and Oreo got a nat 1.
Fuck.
Perfect.
No, Oreo.
Well, I don't know if Oreo may not be able to fit in here necessarily because all of you are in here, but
I
Pretty
like
sure
that
Oreo's keeping
reasoning.
Kindred
I
company.
think Kindred. I
There you
think.
go.
I think that it's with Kindred.
Oreo's with Kindred.
that's fine by me. Renan.
But yeah, I got 12.
That is a 23. I critted on that save.
Ardred.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Sonder.
18.
19. Soul.
22.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Everybody-
Iskra and I.
Yeah, everybody but Galil and Iskra just walk out like, well, that was weird, and then. Iskra and
well,
Galil
as
die.
the fumes fill the air and you guys are rushing out all together, that burning sensation in your lungs for Iskra and Galil, that is 18 points of acid damage.
Hey.
For the rest of you, that is 9 points of acid damage.
Is there any kind of door that I can try and slam close once we leave?
There is no doors.
Okay.
But it seems to have just been a quick, it's like one of those quick release kind of things where it just burns quickly and then starts to fade away. It doesn't follow
how much
you.
was it, sorry?
9 points
9.
for those who went over a 17.
With my eyes burning, I pull water out of my canteen and direct it onto everybody.
Sorry, it is basically a high intensity of pepper spray. This is like bear spray, pepper spray, bear repellent. It
Hey,
burns.
soldiers have to go in there for a period of time and
Recite the Thayan anthem.
yeah.
As soon as I get, like, I would fly over to the. How wide is the room? Sorry, I forgot that.
The room that you're in,
Yeah.
the one or where everybody was in.
Yes.
It's not. It's the same, about the same size as the other one. So it's only like 15 feet across and probably about. This one's like 30 feet deep because it's a smaller than the other one is. So it's a small room. That's why I was like, I don't know if Oreo could fit in this because it's not a big room. It's just small enough. But everybody kind of rushes out and like, it will just say that Iskra and Galil are the last two because they were further in. So it kind of makes sense as you guys were exiting out. The red mist only goes like a quarter of the way into the passageway before it like stops and starts to deteriorate.
Well, that wasn't fun.
Place is bugged. It's shit.
I can
Fans
barely
are
breathe.
sadistic about
So
I did not expect that.
What happened?
I grabbed something off the shelf and it triggered it.
You just see Kindred, who's in this main room writing this spell circle, looks up at Sonder, looks back at his paper and just shakes his head.
I'm gonna
How
go
about
up
we not
to
take any-
Iskra.
And I will go up to Galil.
He had, hopefully this will help a little bit. And I'll
Laying my
do
hand on his shoulder.
cure wounds at the 3rd level.
Yeah.
So let me.
Yeah, I'm not wasting.
I'm gonna give it the vial.
There
I
are
will
two
get
people
you
that just got hurt.
Oh no. So Soul, as soon as Soul walked up to Iskra, I walked up to
Oh,
Soul.
okay. Okay, gotcha.
I laid my hand on his shoulder. And let's see what the dice say. Ooh. Not bad. You heal. Wait, math. 11.
Okay. 11
You
points
just
of.
see bloodshot eyes still.
Are you alright, my friend?
That burn.
22 hit points back, Iskra.
Thank you. Iskra looks a lot better. You see that her breathing steadies and she stands up straight again. Thank you, Soul.
You're welcome. We will try not to maybe touch things.
Yeah.
Who was it who brought water?
Me and I think we all do, but if you need.
I'll just kind of cup my hands and have you pour the water
Yeah.
into my hands. And I will hold it up in front of Galil's face. And... Yeah. Wash your eyes out as best you can.
Let's not go in there again.
I am inclined to agree,
Oh,
but it does make me worry what the components room has.
right.
Yeah, I don't really feel like chancing that right now.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling pretty ragged. Maybe we should go and attempt to get whatever that passes for air around here.
Well, you know, if we're not going to use the components room, we may as well bust it up. Set it on fire or something? I mean,
I was gonna say if we got a way to rig it so that next person goes in there triggers everything.
Kindred?
Just a minute. I'm almost done.
Oh, the whole reason that all of this happened is because I wanted to give you this vial of the high quality ink.
Did you grab? Did you? When
grabbed
this
it
happened,
anyway,
did you
yeah.
grab it?
I mean, if we're
Yeah.
gonna suffer through it, I would have grabbed it and kept it. Yeah.
You placed before him this like large ceramic jar of.
Oh.
It was not a small vial. It's a big jar.
Okay. I don't know why I was thinking it was like.
No.
This little bubble keg.
This is like
Yeah,
you
I don't
know.
know what Chris is gonna do with that entire.
I
thing.
had said to fill a vial, not to take the whole damn jug.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's out now. Kindred like is writing, is finished like doing more of his drawing. Looks over at the thing, looks down at his drawing, looks over at the thing, takes the pen, the quill, dips it in the ink, and then starts to continue to draw.
That sounds appropriate.
Yeah.
Well, I would be.
I think I messed up my contract.
Well done.
I still think we should look in the other rooms, maybe.
Maybe
I
not
would
as
go
many
with
people
you.
go in and we do a bit more of a thorough check before we start plucking things off the shelf.
Well, now we know that this place does have traps in normal seeming rooms.
Very true.
Going into the next room.
Opponent's room.
Who's going in?
I'm not
How
going to go in.
How big is it first? Soul's gonna peek his head in to see if there's enough room for him comfortably.
Yeah, this room is about the same size as the liquid room. The one with the clothing is the largest room because it has the largest things in it. These two are somewhat smaller because they have a lot smaller things. This one kind of looks like you way back in the day when you'd go to the library, they had those like big shelves that you'd have to pull out the cards with.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking-
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I'm talking about. So there's like two large things of that. Yes, before the days of computer. So you have a bunch of teeny tiny like little square drawers that are in this thing. And it's just like one after the other, after the other, after the other. And you do see that they have. For those of you who have been studying your Thayan alphabet, you see that they are listed in Thayan alphabetical order. Ich, mich, ach, noch, ich, lech. You know,
You're just
the usual.
doing Orabesh right now, aren't you?
I'll turn on comprehend languages so that I can read.
Okay. Nice. You see that they are listed just in alphabetical order.
So it's literally just the alphabet. It's not actually like.
It's just the
hey,
alphabet.
this is diamond.
Yeah, nope. It's just alphabetical order. And you see that they kind of repeat. A couple of the letters repeat, so they might just be the first couple of initials of whatever the item is. You go to one that says A, AM, and you open it, and there's like little small stones of amber. Just a bunch of like loose stones of amber.
Amethyst.
Yeah. Other spell components that are listed there by.
I'm gonna go to the D
Okay.
area and look for a diamond.
Sure. You go to the D's and you're pulling a couple of those drawers out. These are mostly empty. There's probably have about 100 gold worth of diamonds looking through four of the drawers. Galil, what were you gonna say?
I just want to walk in and see if there's another one of the ring teleport.
There is.
It's
This
on the
one is in the center of the room and is on a pedestal, similar and smaller in shape than the one in the previous room. It probably only goes about 1.5 feet around, but it is almost like it's a column that is set in the middle of the room. It only goes about like 4 feet off the ground, 4 or 5 feet off the ground, just flat on the top, and then the outer rings have that same little.
Where it's already at, no one's touched it yet. I'm going to go over there and examine the symbols to see where they were last placed at, I guess.
Sure. All right. You memorize those symbols. Who else is in the room?
Well, who went into it at this point? It was. And
Those
it's a
three.
really small room.
It's
Well,
the same
yeah.
as the last one.
I
Okay.
I'll
think
wait
I will
outside.
wait for.
Be outside.
I'll be like last to go in.
I guess I'll be at the doorway to help read the
Any symbols? and
Thayan,
stuff.
since I
Okay.
actually did decently at learning that at one point. So
Yep, you do recognize that. This one, let me make sure that I'm not missing anything from
I'm
this.
gonna keep watch in the middle area.
Yes. You do see in this room also that there are little boxes that have a bunch of like the little velvet baggies where you can put stuff in. There's a couple of baskets near the edges that have bundles of sticks. Similar to the things that you have seen already on the outer room. You can tell that this room may not have been as recently restocked. And the components that you guys had found in the outer room were meant to refill what's in here. In fact, we'll say, Renan, as you're going through some of the other drawers, you find several of them are actually empty.
Are you finding anything that could help set traps up? Maybe things that go boom?
There
Not
is
particularly. It seems mostly benign, but
another course of lightning goes through the veins in this room.
most of this seems rather inert things that you can't turn into a bomb. I mean,
Is there sulfur?
Yes.
Is there gunpowder?
No. There's bat guano.
is there magnesium?
What did you roll on your investigation?
In this room?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I honestly don't remember.
I don't know if you did. I don't think you did. I don't think we did one in this room.
I did it, yeah, in the other room. Nya. 18?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, if I get a bowl of water and some rigging, I can work up the magnesium and sulfur into something. Something an old alchemist showed me, but we would definitely want to leave just in case one of the pieces falls into the bowl. And I don't know how to make rigging.
looking around this space, there's enough stuff in here that if one of those things go off, it would definitely cause a significant chain reaction. If you could figure out a time release for it.
So after Renan said that, Soul's gonna go ahead and step out of the room.
I'm gonna go.
If only there was some acid gas from another room that we could import here.
Do I see anything that I could use to try to build something like that?
I don't exactly know what you're trying to build.
Well, it would need like the picture that popped into my head is a small platform, pulleys, a bowl, and a rope to tie across the entrance.
There is thread in the first room.
Ooh. It would also probably take Renan a fair moment to build something like that.
Yeah.
For the most part, what I think would be most applicable would be, and I'm like shouting this loud enough that it goes out the doorway into the other room. Probably our best choice would be for me to walk out of the room and then throw a thunderclap into it.
I do have an opposing thought. This might be the wrong end of the assembly line to be working too hard to sabotage anything. We might want to start thinking about moving on. We've been killing a lot of time here and we haven't gone very far.
Yep.
The longer that we tarry, the more chances there are somebody will find out we're here, other than just the eye looking out of the crystal. Well, let's go ask Kindred if he needs any components and get out of this damn place.
What was the last room again after components?
That was it.
The liquids and then the components.
Oh, so
Clothing,
it's just
liquid,
three?
components.
Yep, just those three.
Okay, but there's 4. Cool.
The fourth seems to be the room where all the boxes are unpacked and then they are taken to the various sections. As you guys are getting back to that main room, you see Oreo kind of peeking her head down at the passageway into the larger room that you guys had left to come here, and she just kind of like, she's like listening.
I was keeping watch.
Oh yeah, and you were in this room.
Yeah.
Well, then you would have
Where
noticed that
the
she kind
mobs
of,
are at.
yeah, that she's doing that.
Do I see the mannequin figures as I walk back through the room? No.
No, because they are back in the box and have been like sealed.
Okay.
Kindred has finished his redrawing of whatever thing is here in the center, and seems to be finishing making his notes. What are you guys gonna do?
As far as a kind of a retcon moment, just for the sake of when Kindred is here, which you can of course say no to, I would have asked Kindred if he needed any components, and then gone
All
back
of them.
and gotten them for him.
Everything,
I
whatever you
would
can put in your bag.
refuse That.
Well, then why are you asking me? You asked me what I wanted. I told you I wanted everything.
Well, then I suggest you find your own bag, and then I would have walked past him.
And suggest you to find your own bag.
The last time that I do you any favor.
Like he's here.
I know.
All right. You guys get up. And you guys are headed into where? What are you guys doing now?
Well, I would like to check out that thing that Iskra and Renan found earlier, since that sort of seems to be the next
That's where we're
logical
gonna
place
head.
to go.
Do I notice Oreo's attitude?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do I?
Sonder, you too. I'll say that
Like,
as
you
you guys are
spoke up?
coming back into the room, you don't hear anything, but you just see that she is staring down that way into the shadows, and you can see down the pathway the light coming from the glowing, like, crystal room where the little butterflies fly around. She's just looking in that direction. Just with her ears, like she's listening for something, but isn't reacting to anything.
So I was
Percent.
gonna walk up to Oreo and use speech of the woods and ask her, is something making you nervous?
One of the ears perks back to you, and she kind of lets out a low growl of discomfort, mistrust, and a little bit of anxiety.
And I'll look in a direction where she's looking. Does it look like she's looking at a particular place, or is it just her ears are kind of picking up something?
She's just staring down the passageway into that other room.
Okay.
Like where we came from? Like,
Yep.
but not down the left
other-
path.
Right. It's just because you can't see that other pathway from here. You can just see the room and then a little bit of the doorway that goes beyond the other side of that room.
Looking at the way she's acting before we leave this room to go back to the other, I would kind of bring my hands up and a little bit of sparks would start to connect between my fingers.
It
And just
seems
kinda
that
walking like this the whole way.
seems like Oreo is sensing something. It's making her really uneasy, coming from. And so we'll just point.
And somebody do dancing lights down that way.
I'd pull him out of the last place that I put him, shoot him down the hallway.
Iskra
Same way it
flexes her
happened.
fists.
Yeah, ready.
The lights go down the hallway. As the lights move, the shadows move back away, shifted by the light of those balls of lightning that Renan uses. You see the shadows cling to the walls for a minute, almost as if pressing against them, trying not to be burned away by the light before they just are absorbed in between the stones. As if something had been clinging to the shadows in this hallway, unseen, unmoving, until the light forced them to move. And that's where we're going to go on break.
Uh,
Thing.
This
Watching
is the
that
part where I
happen.
point out that Devil Sight means I didn't have to use the shadows. I could have just seen whatever it was.
But there wasn't anything for you to see.
I know, but it's more fun that way.
If there, I had thought about it because I had thought about it. All right, so don't go anywhere. We are going to go on break really fast to get some more drink and go to restroom and do things. We will return shortly, and hopefully everyone will be still alive. Yay! All right, we back. We're okay. As you guys move through this lit passageway now, it's about like another 30 feet of just like cave, right, to get in back to that main passage where the lit centerpiece was, where the little butterfly, the arcane butterfly, is still flit about the center stalagmite. Kindred follows behind you. Guys, as you guys all exit that other area, he has his the skull with him as he's kind of like looking down at it and following you guys around and like puts it into his bag. Sonder. There's a presence you feel whenever Bahamut speaks to you.
Mm-hmm.
What does that normally feel like?
It's a surge of energy up my spine, and then like a pressure in the back of my head, and then I can hear him in my head, like a low grumbling boom.
There's a surge that goes up your spine as you're walking down this hallway and approaching into the next room. It's a tightening of muscles, almost like a spasm that goes up your back. It's like you can almost feel like the muscles that are at rest just go like that, and it goes all the way up the back of your spine and raises the hair on the back of your neck a little bit, enough to where you kind of like crack your neck a little bit. And on that relief of the cracking of the tension, there's a sensation that creeps over your head and through your mind. It's like having someone's hand just kind of go like that from the back of your head forward. If you could have felt that on your brain.
Okay.
And your eyes kind of widen a little bit as you hear a voice in your head.
I'm gonna turn back to the others, or start trying to look that direction.
Okay.
For just a moment.
Yeah.
My child. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah. Who are you?
I'm that friend of Kindred's. The one everybody warns you about.
Should you come with a warning?
I don't think so. I guess it depends on your perspective on things.
What no?
I'm limited now. I have a few choices, and two of them are right in this room.
Your eyes immediately lock on Kindred and Galil.
And I thought, since you chose to introduce yourself to me, I should say something, shouldn't I?
Is what that flower was. The
Well,
connection.
think of your taking it in as sending up a beacon so I could find you. I've heard so much about you, you know.
Probably not great things. I
Oh,
imagine.
very good things.
Hmm.
But you see, it's like I'm meeting somebody from a dream. I could see you through other eyes before, but I couldn't really know. In any case, I'm sure you know you're being watched here. Consider me now one less set of eyes to worry about. At least I've come to the fore. No creeping.
Appreciate that. But we're gonna have to compete with Bahamut.
Oh no, I'm no competition to a god.
Does that mean that you have been introduced to Barnaby as well?
I've met the Owl King, yes.
Is he okay?
Hmm. Difficult to know. His mind is a strange one. It's taking me time to find the right way.
He's
It's-
wiser than he seems.
It's living. I see his dreams.
Okay. Then maybe he's just unconscious. You must have known that he was taken by these tentacles from behind.
Mm. I did not see that moment. I'll have you know, I need you to make it out of here. This place, there's an isolation to it that is strange to me. I do not hear a chorus that I've been building. I don't know how much your friend has told you. But I don't hear a dangerous call either. You see, my fate is now very tied to yours.
You've attached yourself to me. For now.
My curiosity got the better of me, and here I find myself.
Well, I'll try to survive for the both of us. What happened to the follower, the Gabriel that you had attached to?
I left him behind. You see, I can only be in so many places at once. And this place here shrinks that severely.
Okay.
The Moonblood doesn't trust me, but the scholar, my student, he's kept me around and it's been advantageous for all of you. I may work from behind a veil, but our interests align.
We've gained allies from many places. Dark places and friends of the land, friends from other realms. So, So long as your wish is aligned with ours, you're welcome to stay. But like Khalil, if you cross that line or hurt any of my friends, then we can no longer keep this symbiosis.
Symbiosis. I like that you feel that we're that close. I like you, son of Bahamut. I don't know what it is, but I feel very connected to you.
We'll see how that goes.
Dream of me?
You finish your turn to the group as you this whole conversation took place just as you were turning to everybody. And then the sensation disappears the moment you are facing the opposite direction that you had been going. And you just kind of
yeah.
cold shiver.
Yeah.
Right as I begin to say to Ardrin, did you see that?
My breath is cold, so you guys see a cold, in a couple breaths as I turn around.
Kindred does not notice. As I rolled a perception for him and he got a natural 1.
He's absorbed by his own smugness. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh,
okay.
19. Do I notice it?
A 19. There's a moment that you have seen before. Whenever Kindred starts to get that far off look, you know he's talking to somebody inside his head. A look that you feel just has a moment of hesitation or distraction. Sandra is always a very focused individual. As much as sometimes he comes across as playful or jovial, there is always purpose to whatever he does. There's this moment of whenever he turns around that he just kind of looks lost. It's like his body's going and his eyes just kind of stare at. It's like when you move your head, you don't look at anything, but your eyes just kind of travel or staying in the stationary line. When you turn your head, you're looking the direction that you're going to turn, right? His head as he turns around is just kind of focused in one direction until he turns back around and then he looks normal. And it's just this very brief blip. It could just be the fact that you guys are in a place that is literally screaming with negative and necromantic energy. It could be the fact that you saw the shadows sucked into the walls instead of being banished away by the light. It could have been any number of the weird things. Your eyes are still somewhat watery from the bear spray that you just had. You had been fumigated with, but it stuck out as in your head as just peculiar. A long list of peculiar, strange things that have been happening since you guys have got here. So yes, I would say you notice it. Whether it stood out to you that much more amongst everything else, but it was definitely something to add to the list of what the F is happening in this place. And almost as if to punctuate that, you hear another of screaming necrotic energy that lights the tunnels going from the direction that you had been to the direction you were going, just kind of echoes across. And being so close to the stone, you see into the crystalline sections of the obsidian where that light goes on the other side. And it's almost like you're looking through glass. And do. It's back because it had already turned green again. But yes, you just like for that brief moment as you're like, it happens around you. You look in this other direction and you can see that it just looks like there's this empty space beyond through that light. But the moment that that lightning passes through, it's gone and it's just darkness again. Oreo just kind of huffs at your side.
If you chew it, you won't choke on it.
The times I have heard that before.
Wow.
I eat really fast, okay? Anyway, moving on.
Okie
What was that? What? It's for real. Anyway, moving on. You guys get back into the main room with the butterflies. The end. What are you guys doing?
Far as I can remember, we were heading towards the outside.
Oh, you are going towards the
The cylindrical
platform.
room.
yes. Going to through this room and into the next. You guys watch the little butterflies flit around the top little section. You move on to this other room, the light again banishing the shadows, and this time as you cast those lights down through the passageway into this next room, they don't move the same way they did the last time. They move just like normal shadows would, normal darkness being pushed back by the light. They didn't struggle with that light like you saw in the other room. But you find the platform that both Renan and Iskra had seen before. Let me. What are you guys doing? Now you are here in this room.
Now that we're
Catch
in
him on
this
the
room,
butterflies.
Wait, what?
I want to catch one of the butterflies.
This was in the other room. You want to try and catch one of the butterflies?
Yep.
Okay. I will say that as you guys are passing through and you stop to try and catch one of these butterflies, your hand passes through it. And it passes through you. Keeps flitting. It looks so completely physical, but it just passes through your hand. Leaves
So
your
I was
hand
gonna
feeling a little
notice-
cold. Go ahead.
So I was gonna notice Galil trying to do that, and he's out of curiosity. He's gonna see if these things kind of respond to the same way, like butterflies in the real world respond. So he's gonna hold his finger out and then push like nature magic
Ooh,
from
Cool.
like to coat his finger, and then also to like push it towards one of the butterflies.
Like, how much nature magic are you putting in this finger of yours? Like,
I'd say like a cantrip level amount.
druidcraft, we'll say.
Mhm. Yeah.
Your finger turns green. There's like a little bit of moss that comes to the very edge of it, and a little sprout that comes out, making that almost like a little landing perch. And the butterfly comes towards your finger. And it coasts right through it. But for that moment, it seemed like it was attracted to when you were moving the magic, it started moving towards you. And then once you stopped, just kind of like pass and then continue to flit around the stone.
Well, that was all I was gonna try.
Okay.
Yep.
well, that's
Alright.
progress. I smile a little bit, looking at Soul.
They are really, really pretty.
Once we get into the other room and we're all standing around the big this space with the void below and above and the platform. Talking and kind of motioning to the platform, I'll say to the party, there are more symbols on that platform. Atet was able to fly around and collect what they all were. Atet?
Atet seems to just come out of nowhere, almost like she just appeared where she had not been before. The little arcane image, the little minor illusion that is like cast, shows the symbols. I'm not sure what these are. They look simple, geometric. They're shapes, but I don't know exactly what I'm looking at.
Ronan and I think it might be like the train in the catacombs in Amrutlar, but it just goes up and down.
Kindred's like, What were you gonna say?
I said, do the symbols are there the same ones as I memorized from the other room?
No. No, these symbols are definitely rudimentary geometric objects. It starts with a pyramid, it goes to a square, then like a diamond, then a more complicated looking diamond with more facets, then like a circular object. All of them have flat sides. They're all like wireframe looking things. And the last one is a dodecahedron. You look at the platform and you notice that there are two shades of stone on here. One, the black obsidian that you guys have seen around, and the other one a lighter form of gray. And they're divided almost like the circle is almost like has a pie wedge cut out of it. Would you like to see a rudimentary version of what this looks like?
That'd be
Yes,
great.
please.
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
Okay. Let me move everybody over here. Boop. Badoop, badoop, badoop. 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 Go, gadget camera.
A pin.
And for the audience at home. Whoops.
Oh.
Kendrick. There we go. All right. Now, you can see a very rudimentary image.
Okay, cool.
But they mirror each other on each side.
Is the platform such that we would be able to like take a step and reach it?
Yeah.
Or
It sits right at the edge of the rut.
Of the room, so.
Nope. It's right there at the
Okay.
edge of the rut. You can easily step onto it.
I'm gonna reach out with my foot, and unless anybody stops me, I'm gonna put a foot on it.
Sounds like a plan. And you do so.
And
Re-
then step all the way forward if nothing happens.
You expect it to give a little bit for whatever reason. This platform
Right,
that
I figured it would like go like
like
this. or something,
shift.
a little, right?
It stays perfectly still. And you stand on it. And it almost gives you the sensation. There's a bit of a memory trigger of you being in the Afro dream space.
I was just gonna say actually
of standing
out
on
loud.
a pillar, standing on a circular platform in the middle of nothing. But this is very different feeling. And as you're standing on it, you can fully. There's a moment as you pass the lip of the edge, you feel the air kind of go past you. That little gentle breeze that you saw Atet's the orb kind of get caught on and then continue across. There's that same little feeling of the rush of air, and now you feel like you're in this a little bit of a wind tunnel. You can feel the air moving back. You're like drifting around in this cylindrical space, and you look up into the clouds or fog above you, and you kind of peer around the edges of it into the fog down below, and there is this very dull purplish yellow and orange glow to the clouds on either side, and you can see the clouds kind of swirl in and amongst them, making these little swirly cues in there.
I don't know what this is, but it's amazing. I wish this place weren't so menacing. It would be almost tranquil.
Did Iskra stand on a particular symbol or just the platform itself?
Just on the platform itself, I would say it'd be like just right here. The symbols are on either side.
Okay. I would like to go up to the icosahedron. 20-sided one.
The 20-sided
On
one?
the right. Yeah.
On the side over here. And you see that you can see that the carving of it is set in, and the inset of it does have like a little bit of this golden metallic inlay to it, and it makes the entirety of the symbol. From the side, it just looks like you can see the indentations of each symbol and a little bit of a shimmer, but now standing over it, you see that both sides, they make a groove down like that. Both sides have that same shimmer to it.
I'm gonna kind of just shrug at the others and then just kind of lightly tap my foot on it to see if that does anything other than
Put your foot on there, and it's just like touching any other part of the slab.
You know, now that I've seen the symbols in the other rooms, these feel, I don't know, older, more elemental, right?
definitely a lot more simplistic in comparison.
For the
I
players,
will-
in case you haven't figured it out, they represent each of the dice that we use in the game. I figured everybody
it
got
had
it.
to be like a dice
Yeah.
tower kind of deal is what I was going with it, but because
If
he said it was a vertical shaft and then he got these things on the bottom, like that's got to be a dice tower, right? That's what we're going with this.
Is this gonna break one of the dimensions to where we go through it and we find ourselves playing this
You're
game?
right. I feel like that could cause
I-
some existential trauma for the characters.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
screw it.
would like to kind of
Oh.
flip over to the opposite dodecahedron.
All right. Fly
So
over.
Decahedron is 12, by the way.
Yeah. Oops.
Icosahedron is the 20.
That one.
And is Ardrin's foot still on the other?
That's what I was going to be suggesting to Iskra before you piped. I was like, see if we both are touching the same one, if that does anything.
You touch it, nothing happens.
I start. You ever see like those like giant like walk-on pianos are just gonna kind of start just playing scales walking down the side to see if that activates it while Renan stays still on the one.
And
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
walk to the center where the triangle meets the dark and the light.
Okay.
Just
Anybody?
kinda look at what everybody's doing.
Kendra's
I'm
gonna
gonna
sit there and like look and wait. Then he's gonna open his book and start to look through the book a little bit.
you make any of these shapes whenever you're making spells, Kindred?
Something like that. Sometimes. That's what I was trying to see. He's just looking through and kind of mumbling to himself.
Hey, I got a visit from Strawberry.
You see him stop, turning the like mid-page turn. Oh yeah. And finish turning the page.
Yeah. Pretty sure it was a flower that you gave me or that you gave Barnaby. But she says he's still alive, connected to him in a way. And for now, her life is depending on our survival.
You can see his eyes move, making the quick movements of like trying to think and calculate. And he swallows and nods for the good of the garden. And then he like steps onto the platform. What are you guys doing that are on the platform? Those of you
I
who
was moving towards the
move toward the other side.
far
Yeah.
side. Yeah.
As you step on each one, you don't see anything that like seems to happen there.
Worth a try.
He's gonna go. Kendra will go to the symbol and it's gonna get down on one knee and kind of like examine it closely. Gets the little goggle out and starts to try and make take a closer look.
I'm gonna start doing a meditative flow that works with the first simplest symbol, the pyramid triangle, and just try to move my body and energy in that way. Just like, because I'm just guessing at this point. It's like, okay, well, if these things are elemental, and this is the way I would connect with it. And so, just throwing things out and seeing what sticks.
Sure.
I'm gonna scan all
So
of the
I go
walls.
down and then up, down, forward, to the side, up, as trying to make that
try to
shape
make a shape.
and like feel it, basically connect with it.
Okay. What were you gonna say, Renan? You're looking at the walls?
I'm gonna give another scan to the walls,
Sure.
just in
Make-
case I missed something.
Make a perception check. Now that you're in the space. Sonder, Galil, and Sol, you guys are there. And Oreo. But you guys are the ones that are left on
Thank
the
goodness for sight perception advantage. I was like, a 15, that's a 23, that's pretty good. I'll give it another shot. Oh, natural one. I'm glad I wasted that here.
I'm gonna make a basic cube with water and float it above the pillar or the platform, and I'll walk up onto it.
Okay. And walk onto the platform. Sol, Galil, what are you guys doing before I go over to Arjun?
Oreo and I would just go on there,
Okay.
and we can see that they're they're across from each other, right?
Yeah.
She's gonna go to the one, the D.
It's a very terrible
D8.
the D8. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to the other D8.
These two. Okay. You two will go over there. Arjun, what are you doing?
I am going to crouch down. I'm going to touch the four-sided die. I'm doing away with the pretense. And as I kind of lift my hand, I start to extrude using minor illusion, like the wireframe 2D shape. That's, as I extrude it, becomes the three-dimensional shape. Kind of just floating above it, like a Zelda rupee style.
Perfect. All right. As you're doing that, so Sol, what are you doing?
So I was watching everyone making these shapes out of stuff and just trying to figure out what they're doing. Soul's gonna walk up to the platform and not on any particular symbol or anything, just off to the side. And then he's gonna try to do the same thing he did with that butterfly, but like point it at the ground.
All right, so you're getting on the platform.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're just doing it on the ground.
Yeah, I'm
Just
just
doing the
gonna
ground.
push in some nature energy and just see if anything happens.
Arjun,
Mhm.
you lift your hand off the surface, and the little wire-shaped energy comes with it and forms a three-dimensional image, and then immediately is sucked into this symbol on the ground. And you see a light, and the whole platform begins to lift and go up.
Oh,
Just for that brief moment. It goes up a couple feet and then stops. As Drew, what is your I'm assuming your reaction is to stop what you're doing.
Yeah, I kind of just sort of like to immediately sort of, if my hand's like sort of opened while I'm controlling it, I kind of close it in order to stop the illusion. Just
As soon as you do that, the platform comes to a halt.
yeah. I think I might have found a button. Let me try that again, make sure that wasn't an accident.
Okay.
And I
Focus.
repeat
I
the
stop what I'm
exercises.
doing and focus on Arjun.
Okay. You do it again.
Yep.
Casting in that minor illusion's a cantrip, right?
Yep.
Casting in that energy. You see now the energy go back and forth between your hand and the symbol. It almost creates like a little bridge of this rose crimson,
It's like plasma coil ball kind
Yeah.
of deal.
where it goes down like you're trying to pull the image out, but it continues to get sucked back into the platform, and the platform starts to rise, going about 4 feet a minute, or 4 feet around.
Mm.
So it's a very slow, like,
I'm gonna sort of like slowly sort of like edge it off, and then I'm gonna try to do it with the next one to see if that changes either the speed or direction or something else entirely.
okay. You go over to the next one, the square, and again, you place your hand on it, pull the geometric shape out, and it gets absorbed into the sigil. And as you do so, the platform begins to rise even faster. Now going 6 feet around.
But it's going up,
Nice.
right?
It was going up.
can I match my cube on the other side to what he's doing?
Sure. You put the cube of water over onto the cube itself.
Yeah.
There's a stutter, but it doesn't absorb because your ability is not quite magic. It is arcane in nature. There's magic in nature, but it is not quite a focused, like, actual magic spell, or
It's
magical
different,
energy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which usually is a good thing for us, but in this case,
Like primordial versus arcane
Right,
versus celestial.
So it kind of moves it a little. It makes it shudder and slow down, but it's not enough to where.
It's more of a kickstart rather than the actual fuel these things need.
Yeah.
Apparently. Since I don't want to be going too fast, I don't know where we're going yet. I kind of want to just look up into the darkness in an attempt to discern what's even ahead of us.
Looking up is just you're moving in through fog, and if you're keeping this going, the entrance or the passageway that you had left slowly starts to disappear into the fog. It's not dark here per se. The clouds have that quality of, like, you ever seen on those Pinterest pictures where they have cotton clouds and they have the light that's on the inside to kind of give it a glow? It's kind of like that from both sides. You see that there are clouds or fog, and there is
Something
this
almost
ethereal.
physically opaque in a
Yes,
way, rather
there
than
is exactly. There's
lack
like
of
a
illumination.
there's this light that's coming from both sides. It's almost like the light is following you wherever this platform is going.
Do you guys want me to speed this thing up, or we go to where we at? 'Cause I don't even know where we're going.
Was there anything ahead of us past this relic?
It was just this.
Okay.
And that was the
Then
last
yeah, I
one.
think we should keep going.
I wouldn't say speed up per se. Perhaps keep the current pace.
Mm.
No need to be too hasty in case something waits for us up there.
Oh, I'm getting shades of Metal Gear right about now.
But how far does this go? Renan, can you do something about the clouds or Soul? Give us some visibility.
I could try something. I've never really done it before, but makes sense.
Best I could do is try to manipulate them with my innate power. I do not want to be wasting any of my greatest skills. Not now.
Okay, well, the one I was thinking, I don't have that spell prepared.
As you go, it's like the fog disappears probably about 15 feet before the platform. So, like, as you are traveling through, there's always this bubble of clarity around you, but beyond it, you just see this swirling clouds. And at the very edges around the rock, you see the clouds like pass by you, and they continue to make these like swirling, like little. It goes, swirls, and continues downward. It's a very strange. For us, it looks cell shaded almost, but not quite. It just has like a weird shape to it that doesn't quite feel natural. The air here smells almost ozone-y. It smells like a thunderstorm. It smells like weather. It smells like cloud. It smells like fresh air. But at the same time, it almost is so strong and rich of a scent that it makes your stomach kind of turn, and you're not sure if it's the movement that's not movement, because for all intents and purposes, the only thing that you can see that is moving is the walls. That and the occasional drifting of cloud at the edges of the platform, but you see that the walls are moving downwards at a reasonably like going pace.
I imagine Renan feeling really at home with this
Oh, yeah, no,
sensation and
Renan's
smells, but the
very
rest of
much
us are
enjoying
all. "Mm."
But it's kind of like that VR feeling of like you're seeing movement, but you don't really feel too much in the way of movement. You just feel like just static air moving around you. It doesn't even seem to make sense with the direction that you are going.
Keeping an eye on the fact that we're moving, but I don't want to like move up to the 20th gear. I kind of want to move up to the next one and just sort of like kind of like gradually sort of, if you've ever driven like a manual car, but it just slowly
Right.
like
Standard.
transition the illusion to the other
Probably
the eight-sided,
best.
and
It's-
just try and like maintain that like smooth transition to it, hopefully.
Instead of
You
just
can't-
suddenly accelerating really quickly.
You go from the one to the next as you focus your arcane energy from one and go to the next one. There's a little bit of a slowdown before you hit the next one, and it picks up even faster. Now you will be moving at 8 feet per round.
Okay.
So it does pick up substantially.
Mhm. Can I look over at Renan and just can you throw some lights ahead of us to maybe kind of get a sense of maybe where this ends, so I don't run us into the bloody ceiling?
Certainly. And I'll
I do.
spin them up above us.
I do have my lantern still on, which is 30 bright and 30 dim after that.
What's the range of the sight for invisible creatures?
As for the
I don't like that question.
Right.
for the lantern, it's
Oh, is
Within
anything
that
within the light?
light.
Within the light?
it's within that light, and it's invisible creatures and objects.
Simba, anything the light touches wants to.
Yes.
Okay, so that light, you're about 30 feet from the edges of the wall. I'll keep a note of that as you are continuing forward. Renan, going and spinning your lights, your beams of light upward, and you're casting the light up, right?
The lightning balls, yeah.
Once they go into the fog, you can see a little bit of the light, and then they vanish.
Do I feel like they're not even active? Or that I just...
The furthest one out ceases to exist. And in your mind, when you think about it existing again, it pops up next to you. You send the next one up further. And it goes about like 30, 40, 50, whoop, gone. And then whoop, appears where you're at.
So I'll maintain them at about 30 to 40 feet above us. Yeah, that's about how high I'll keep them, so they'll stay about 40 feet above us even as we're moving upward.
All right.
Does Renan relay the distance issue?
He wouldn't have relayed it per se, but he would have looked very confused at the ball of lightning reappearing right next to him, and you would have seen it go up and eventually vanish and then pop up again.
How far ahead of us you getting those things?
I don't know per se. 50 feet perhaps. Anything beyond that, they seem to just not.
Well, I don't want to go that fast if we don't have a reasonable expectation of what's in front of us, so...
I concur.
Anybody else got any thoughts or opinions on this? Because I don't want to hit the gas.
I'll start keeping my eyes on the walls around us that are going up, just in case there's any doorways or anything, inscriptions, big mosaics, anything that we might see on the walls as we go past.
There is only
Make a
one
perception
point
check.
I would like to make. Don't get me wrong, I love the smell of ozone. But in a place like this, it generally means it came from somewhere or something. And if it came from something, I for one don't trust the source. Could be a creature in here that spits lightning, or something of the kind.
Well,
Esper
unfortunately...
rolled a 9, so...
Unfortunately, ain't got any other direction other than seeing that this thing has a sub-basement, so... And I don't know if you got any other options that I hadn't seen.
I don't. I simply say be wary. I can only keep my friends from so much lightning.
Speaking of which, so I don't know how much you got left in the taps, but last couple of hours left me a little bit ragged. I don't know if you could do anything to fix that situation for me.
Feeling like maybe you need to be healed?
I was trying to do so in a less mechanical way, but yes.
Well, I mean, it's not so much mechanical. Yeah, I could try to heal if you have any wounds.
You'd probably see that Ardrin, I guess, would be both sort of the weave burns from the force magic that he took in the first fight, and then the freezer burn from the floor puzzle. though. He's just been having a bad afternoon.
Okay. Let's see.
While he's doing this, I'm kind of just like looking down to see if there's anything like a feedback coming from the illusion controls, and then looking back up, and then looking back down to the controls, and looking back up, just checking his mirrors, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. There's always this constant pulsing thing, this pulsing energy that kind of goes between your hand and the platform. And you keep looking up, expecting there to be some sort of shift. And aside from the walls that you see moving around you, you don't see anything else above you, just this consistently cloudy space. And as Soul, I guess you're gonna move over there to Ardrin.
I'm gonna
Galea.
do a medicine check on him to see how strong of a healing am I wanting to do.
Oh, a thought that occurred to me. Hold on.
I got an 18.
18?
Mhm.
How badly does Ardrin need it?
I am looking pretty ragged. I am at less than half of what would be considered in good shape.
Like not much damage, I would say. That's how I see it.
Not much damage. I'm at less than half.
No, I know. No, I'm saying if someone were to say they look in good shape, I'm assuming they haven't taken much damage, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay. That was.
So he's looking pretty hurt.
Okay.
We got a posture check.
Okay.
Thanks, Taco. I'm not listening to it. I refuse. Fine.
Yep.
Ardrin will perform
That feels
a
good.
posture check if he gets any healing in the near future. Because right now he's just
Right.
he's
crippled.
realizing that Thayanland does not have OSHA, and it is a concern right now.
Actually, I'm pretty beat up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I will expend then a 4th level spell for Cure Wounds.
Oh my.
So that means
Ardrin dies.
4 times.
Who? On that note, like that isn't something that I had really thought to be on the lookout for, but does anybody else look like they're significantly banged up?
Santos just a tiny bit inked up, but it's okay.
23 on hit points back.
Oh, nice.
And Soul has been making it a point to make sure that he has told his party members, just like what Ardrin did, to please let him know if they need healing
They need anything? Yeah.
and to at least try to meet him halfway for it.
He's not like brand new mint condition Ardrin out of the packaging, but you do get this sort of sigh of, when you like have had a headache for so long that you forgot what it was like to not have a headache, and that's kind of just what you've done for me. Just like, oh, you are a lifesaver. Thank you, Saul.
You're welcome. My magic does help save lives.
Galil, you see something flash by in the light before it passes by with the platform.
I'm gonna focus on it.
It's already gone. It's already, like, you just see it like come, like, as you have the lantern out, it's like something that you see in a black light, right? It's like it becomes visible, invisible, or visible, and then invisible again as the platform goes up past it. and it just like passed out into the fog below.
Yeah, we're going, what, 8 feet every
6 seconds. Mm.
Does Galil share this information?
I was just gonna say it, but yeah.
I guess what Arjun does is take the illusion away for a second, so hopefully the platform slows down to.
The moment that you stop.
But here's a thought.
It just instantly stops. We all continue ascending.
Yeah.
So
Apparently they don't have the initial inertial dampeners from Star Trek, so we're just all reverse bungee jumping here. Well, do we want to go down at a slower pace? Because I'm assuming if this side takes us up, that one takes us down lower. So do we want to investigate what that is before we go higher?
I think it's probably worth it.
All right.
Can certainly give it a shot.
I will go to the opposite side, and I won't go because this was the 8-sided one, right? So we'll go to the cube, and we'll go down at a slower speed that hopefully will be of some use to spotting and then stopping immediately.
I just looked it up. On average, traction elevators ascend 200 feet in a minute. So
yeah, but they slow down. They don't just go at that.
Right? No.
speed.
I know, and that's to say, no, that's for sure.
Because otherwise, we're gonna have some sim physics going on here.
That's about. Wait, am I doing that right? That's like 3 feet per second. I think. I don't know. My math is not the best. But anyway, okay. I was trying to get a comparison as to how, like, is this really going that fast or is this not going? Because to me, it's going. It sounds like it's going fast. 28
in a world
feet.
that does not have elevators,
Right.
it's pretty
This is pretty
fast.
weird for us.
Like there's
So it
some
would
culture
be
shock going on.
5 feet per second for the standard real world elevators then.
Yeah.
And
So then,
we're
yeah,
going,
you're going slow then.
we're going at about a sixth of that.
Okay, so yeah, all right. I was just trying to, like, in my mind, I was like, it sounded a lot faster, and then I was like, well, I guess actually it's not going that fast. So
I don't want to put it in 20th gear and then just sort of take my hand off and then.
no, because it doesn't just immediately stop, right? It does it consumes whatever energy's been feeding into it, and then it just kind of slowly comes to a direct halt. But even you've noticed that even as all of you guys got on the platform, it never shifted or wobbled at all. It stayed completely solid the whole time. You start to bring the platform back down, and now Galil, you are bringing and shining this light around at the walls. And at the very edges of this 30 feet, you see a creature that has been climbing up or climbing on the walls. And you just see it climb
Do I
the wall.
recognize the kind of creature of nature?
Make a nature check.
I'm waiting for someone to tell me to stop.
No.
'Cause I haven't seen this
Good.
one.
I want to say it's an 18, but I need to double check. Yeah, it's an
I feel
18.
like you'd be
As the platform is going down towards it, you just see it crawling up towards you. It reminds you of some sort of baboon or ape, but closer in size to a gorilla. And the more that the platform is getting towards it, the closer that you're getting to see it. And it has this weird phosphorescent glow to it because it is invisible until it starts hitting this light. And as they're shining the light on it, it doesn't seem to really acknowledge you at all as it's just continuing to climb up the wall towards you until finally the platform is level with it, and all of you see this large gorilla-like shape of a creature. You can't see any real definition to it because it just looks like it's light, right? Because it's just being lit up by this magic glow. So it's just glowing shape of what looks like a baboon that is climbing up the wall and has two long serpent-like tails along its back that just kind of like swing in back and forth, like as if it's hitting a breeze that you don't feel. It's just kind of like they're both like just going like that behind it as it's
Demon
climbing the wall.
monkey.
Displacer baboon.
I'm going to say into my earpiece, Ardrin, maybe go fast.
So what I was going to do is like as I was already seeing this thing, I was gonna, like slowly back, like moonwalk to the other one and go up to the 12 and just be like, oh look, the cats.
All of you see it, and it's literally, I mean, it is a decently sized creature, right? And you see it, and so you go over to the other side, the up button.
Yeah, going over to the 12, and we're just gonna try
Alright.
and outpace this thing.
You go over, place the magic into the symbol. It starts to alight, and the platform suddenly shifts. It had already come to a stop, and you just see the thing there climbing on the wall. And Galil, do you just keep it focused there, or do you move it around?
I'm gonna focus right there and then slowly move it.
As you're moving it, you see another,
Oh no.
and another, and another. And you just see them, like, one's crawling down, one is crawling up. And then the platform goes, starts to go up at a faster tick now than it had been before. And quickly those creatures fall away.
Minding the business. All right.
No one tried bothering them, so let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
What are they? Are they servants? Were they here before the Thayans? That's weird.
And then you hear the cry come from down the tunnel. And it sounds like a whole lot of screaming baboons shouting in the distance. But you are now going much faster than you had been, but you hear them from below. A cry. Something screaming. And you all look to each other because you all heard this sound.
I don't suppose you can.
Did David mute himself?
Who, me?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything either.
Oh,
Me
I was breathing really heavily. I was just like,
Okay.
Okay.
you can hear the sound of exertion of something below running to keep pace with the thing. And if any of you were to happen to peek over the edge,
I wanted to with the light. Well, with the lantern.
peek over to the edge, running on all four, baboons up along the walls.
Can we go faster?
That's what I was waiting to do. That's why I was doing this.
Okay, cool. You go.
If you can move me over to the 20, just so.
You go over to the 20, feeding the
Everyone else
magic
stay
into
alert.
it. Feeding the magic into it, you rocket upwards, and that's still, you can feel the air going past you, right? But at the same time, it doesn't affect the clouds like you would expect them to be moving quickly past you. It's almost like they are still traveling with you in either direction.
Oh,
And-
I had a thought. Damn it.
And now you hear them fade away. There is now this like kind of coursing lightning that is kind of coming up from below and just catching up through the clouds.
Everybody get to the center of the pillar. Or of the platform.
I was about to
Let
say,
me
what
yell
pillar?
The platform,
see-
the platform.
you-
Everyone get to the center.
You see two. What are you going to say, Adrian, before I continue?
Well, move to the center because I think I can maintain this illusion from over anywhere from like 30 feet away. But I was going to indicate to Kindred, can you try and add an illusion to the 12 to see if that'll add the speed or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. He goes over to the 12, looks over at you, and then feeds in his own magic as well. And the both of you feel the platform surge and continue to go up even faster. You are now going 32
Anybody else
feet
got
per
any
second.
illusion magic they can dole out right about now?
I do. I go to the 8.
As you go over to the 8, you press in. What are you doing? Prestidigitation? Minor illusion.
I have
You
minor illusion.
All right. So you press in minor illusion, mirroring the same thing. The platform picks up even more speed. The lightning that was traveling up starts to fall back away and then go up faster. And you see two of the bolts combined together, and then another 2 bolts, and the 2 of the monkey shapes become physical apparitions that land on the platform with you. You see one has 4 eyes, one in the normal place, one just below it, one highly above, and one like over here off to the side. And the 2 tails that are behind it are snakes that look at you, and they see the other bolts of lightning that have collided together form there's 2 of those monkeys, and 2 bird-like individuals apparate from the air above you, land on the floating platform. And I will go ahead and put the art of those creatures into the Discord.
Our obituaries, got it.
So if you go over to our campaign art,
I know what I'm doing.
you see 2 bird-like individuals with masks on. One creature. Oh, I may have spoken wrong. No, there are multiple eyes. Sorry, my bad. There are more than one eyes on these creatures. There are eyes all over their body. And you know,
Okay,
once
calm
you
down,
see them,
Aragon.
you see them, you know exactly who to thank for this next encounter that we are going to dive into next week.
It's 10:17.
Wait, in campaign.
We're gonna say Sander.
Wait.
I'm going to the center, and then I'm going to activate. What's it called?
Panic button.
I'm gonna activate aspect of the worm, resistance to lightning.
Resistance to lightning. All right, cool.
Yeah. So anyone
And
within
then
10
Other way
feet of
around.
me,
over here.
anyone within
Oh, yeah.
10 feet of me also gets that resistance.
Alrighty.
And
Well,
I'll yell that out.
as these creatures land on the platform and the 2 winged individuals stay flying above you, we're gonna pick up on this fight next Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
I want more.
So a special thanks goes out to Kaz the DM for this lovely puzzle / room / encounter that he did a combo wombo for.
It looks really cool.
Yeah. So he was like, make sure that you tell them about the clouds that are swirling and the color hues of like yellows and purples and stuff. And I was like, all right, I got you.
Gorgeous.
Where, is that art from a specific
It's from his campaign.
Right, Kaz does
yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Isn't that Kaz's art?
Yeah, that's his. Those are his creatures, and
Ooh.
yeah, and of the puzzle room, there's like a weight room that has the dice on it, where how you would get up and down the room. So I was like, all right, with a couple of adjustments here and there, we can definitely do this. So here we go. But yeah. How could they do this? Oh no. As soon as I saw, I freaking knew. The brigade, they've gone to plaid. Perfect. Yep. And so I'll have some time to train and get some minis in the appropriate design. Hopefully, we'll see what I can find. All right. But anyway, I'm ready to go.
Isker's goal is to sock 'em bopper these things off of the platform, and hopefully we keep going for up.
I already had one of my planned actions as far as like the second that they landed. Like, Renan, by the time we say we're picking up next week, Renan's hands are about to hear. And he freezes.
All right. Well, we will see how things pop off next week. Yeah. So thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Had some fun little creepy moments and fun little traps. I can't wait to see what happens when you get to the top of this chamber. I'm excited. All the excitement.
Oh yeah.
All the blood. All the blood. All right. Well, we'll see you Friday night with Graham over there, clickety clackies, and then we'll see you Monday night with more adventures of our Sybil, Martell, Trevor coming back, and maybe a fourth. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. We'll see you next time. So everybody have a great night. Stay fey, be brave, and we'll see you the next day that ends with Y.